Hello children, myself Mrs. Sabita Patnaik, teacher in economics, DM School, Regional Institute of Education, Bhubaneswar. In this session today, we will be discussing the topic people as resource. This is a topic in economics in class 9th. What are we going to basically discuss in this topic is that population is an asset and not a liability. Now children, you all know that India is a country which is very rich in natural resources. It has abundant of mineral resources, forest resources, water resources and land resources. In spite of having so much of natural resources, India has not been able to make itself a developed nation. In comparison to India, Japan is a country which has very little natural resources, but it has made itself a developed nation in the world. How? How in spite of India having so much of natural resources is not a developed nation, and how Japan is a country having very little natural resources and has made itself a developed nation. The reason is Japan is importing its raw material from the other countries in the world, and it has basically focused on converting its people to what is called as resources or what is called as human capital. India has not been able to do that for a long period of time. We had been focusing much on the negative side of the huge population rather than looking at the positive aspect. We will be discussing how population can become an asset if we make the positive use of it. Now children, you see in this picture, these children are wondering, what is human resource? Is it land? Is it capital? What is human capital? Is it rupees? Is it dollar? Or it is something else? Let us find out what is human capital. Now human capital is nothing but the stock of skill, knowledge and expertise which is embodied in the individual through what is called education, training and medical care. Investment on education, investment on training and investment on medical care is going to convert the population of the country into what is called as human capital. That is what Japan has been doing since long, and that is why it is a developed nation in the world. How can education, training and medical care or health care convert the population to human capital? Let us understand that. I'll give you an example to understand this better. Now children, you had studied in your previous chapter about the village economy Palampur. And you understood how the economy functions in Palampur. Let me give you an example of that Palampur economy. Now there are two friends in the village. They're studying in the same school in same class, Ranjana and Ranjita. Ranjana and Ranjita are studying in class 7th. Ranjana's parents are farmers and so also Ranjita's. Ranjana's father, he owns some amount of farmlands in the village and he is into farming to earn his livelihood. Whatever he produces throughout the year, it is sufficient to meet the requirements of the family, and whatever little extra he produces, he sells it in the market and gets income in return. Now, Ranjita's father, they are also farmers, but they are not having that much of land as Ranjana's father have, but they are cultivating their land, and Ranjana's father is also working in the fields of the big landowners in the village and is earning his livelihood. Now both the children, Ranjana and Ranjita, are studying in the same school. They are good at studies. They passed class 7th and both of them went to class 11th. Sorry, class 8th. Now what happened? Suddenly, Ranjita was forced to drop out of the school. Why? Why she dropped out of the school? We will discuss it later. Now coming back to Ranjana. Ranjana continued with her education. She passed her matriculation. She passed her undergraduation. Then her father, whatever little savings he had, he used it and put Ranjana into a computer training institute. There Ranjana completed her computer training. Then she got a placement in a computer farm. She started earning a good income that improved the standard of living of the family. And over the years while being in job, Ranjana pursued with the on-the-job trainings which polished his skills and his knowledge, her knowledge. And ultimately what happened, Ranjana started improving her standard of living along with that of her family and started contributing to the society and also to the nation. Investment made by her father on her education, on her training, gave returns in the form of good income. Now let us come back to Ranjita. Why was Ranjita forced to drop out from the school? Ranjita was forced to drop out from the school because she was supposed to take care of the home chores, take care of the cooking, cleaning and everything at home which is required, to take care of the siblings and to take care of her ailing father. Her father was not keeping good health, and as a result, what happened? Ranjana couldn't pursue her studies and she started taking care of the domestic work at home, and her mother went to field to earn the livelihood for the family. And over the years, as Ranjana grew up, she realized that she needs to supplement the income of the family. So she also started working in the fields along with her mother. Now when we compare Ranjana and Ranjita, what do we see? Investment on Ranjana produced good results not only for the family but also for the society and the nation, whereas in case of Ranjita, because of lack of education and training, she couldn't become an asset like that of Ranjana. Now, so what basically we are getting from this example, that as we make investments in physical capital like land or say shares and bonds, which gives us return in future, similarly investments on education and training gives us returns in future. Investment in education and training is going to polish the knowledge, the skills of the population and is going to give them a good return. Now, one important concern which we have to discuss here is the medical care, the health provisions. Health provision is very important in formation of human capital because physical and mental health, they are very, very important in increasing the efficiency to work. A person who is unhealthy will not be able to contribute in the process of production that effectively. Why was Ranjana's father ailing or was having health issues? It is because of lack of nutritious food, lack of living in the hygienic environment, or we can say that lack of awareness of the medical care, or it could be inaccessibility health provisions. Health provision is very, very important to keep an individual going with good mental and physical health. So ultimately, it is education, it is training, it is medical care, which is going to result into what is called as healthier and knowledgeable human capital. Now, who are the human capital? They are the people who we see around us, the teachers, the doctors, the engineers, the policemen, the army personnels, the traders, the businessmen. These all are the human capital. They have turned into capital because of long years of education and training. They have increased their productive capacity. Now, children, you have studied in your previous class about physical capital. You understand what is physical capital. Land, machines, tools, equipments, which are all used in the process of production. They are called as physical capital. Now, this physical capital are used by whom? It is used by the human resources. It is the human capital which is making use of the physical capital in the economy. Without developed human capital, the physical capital cannot be put to proper use. So, when we develop the human capital, it automatically forms a virtuous cycle in the economy. Parents who are educated, they realize the importance of education and they invest on the education of their children. Education and training and health provisions lead to increased efficiency and skill formation. That ultimately leads to increased income, and increased income again will lead to investment in education. This cycle will continue in the economy. That means human capital formation is taking place in a proper manner. But many times when parents are in disadvantageous situations or position like that of Ranjita's, because of less income in the family, Ranjita's father couldn't invest more on education of Ranjita. So Ranjita couldn't pursue with the education. Lack of education and lack of hygiene resulted into untrained, unskilled and poor health, and ultimately it led to less efficiency and low productivity, low income in the economy. How this vicious cycle, which has got generated because of low income and disadvantageous situation in the society, going to be broken? We will be talking about this. What provisions can be made for education or is being made for education and training and healthcare will be taking up in the next session. But for the time being, let us focus on the production activities that is taking place in the economy through human capital formation. Now, Ranjana and Ranjita, they are working. So, there are many people in the economy who are also working. What are they doing? They are producing goods and services. What type of goods and services they are producing? On the basis of that, the production activities has been classified into 3 sectors: primary, secondary and tertiary. Primary sector refers to all those activities which are related to nature, like agriculture, mining, fishing, logging, forestry, quarrying, etc. And the secondary sector includes all those production activities which lead to production of goods by use of raw materials which are derived from the primary sector. All manufacturing units, factories, industries, they will come under the secondary sector. Now finally, there is one more sector which is the tertiary sector. It includes all the services. Whatever services are produced in the economy, they are put into a sector which is called as tertiary sector, like trade, insurance, banking, hotel business, transport, communication, etc. Now, if we recall, what was Ranjana doing? She was working in a computer farm. So, her work is categorized in which sector? In tertiary sector. And what was Ranjita doing? She was working in the agricultural fields. So, her work is categorized in which sector? In the primary sector. All these three sectors, whatever activities is going on, is together called as economic activities. Why economic activities? Because they generate an income. And economic activities again has been further classified to market activities and non-market activities. Market activities means activities which are done, which gives us an income in return, remuneration, pay or profit. Any work which we do and we get income, either remuneration in form of wages or salaries or profit, that is called as market activities. And what are non-market activities? Non-market activities are the activities where production of goods and services are taking place for self-consumption. They are not meant for market. They are produced for self-consumption. So whenever there is production in the economy, whether it is for the market or for self-consumption, we notice a pattern of production in the economy regarding the division of labor. What is division of labor in the economy? Division of labor refers to the type of work, the nature of work done by the people in the economy. One type of division of labor that is observed in the economy is in between the men and women in the family. We basically find that men, they work outside the home. They work in the farms, in the factories, in the industries, in the offices, in banks, in institutions, in organizations. Whereas women are found mostly doing the domestic chores like cleaning the house, cleaning the utensils, cooking, taking care of the children, and so on. Why is this so? Why are the women restricted to doing the household chores? The reason is basically cultural and historical. Women, since a long time, for the cultural reasons, are expected to do the domestic works. But in the present day scenario, with the changes in the time, women are also getting educated. They are also undergoing training, and they have also joined the main workforce in the labor market. Now, household work which is done by the women at home, it is resulting into production of goods and services. But it is not recognized in the national income. Why it is not recognized? Because they are not paid for the work. If the same work is done in the labor market, if cooking is done by a person in a restaurant or in a hotel, then that gets remuneration. But when it is done at home, we don't get any remuneration. You must be seeing your mother doing all the household and domestic works, but she is not being paid for that. So that is why, though household work is a economic activity, we still do not consider it in the calculation of national income. One important aspect that we are going to discuss here is the education and the skill. They are the two important aspects in determining the earning capacity of the individual. Now, we had been talking about the division of labor. We basically see that women, those who are working in the labor market also, they are not getting payment equivalent to their male counterpart. They are paid less. Why are they paid less? Because they have less education and they have low skill. And where the women work in those sectors, you will find that the job is very much irregular and the payment is also very, very less. Many times they do not get the legal provisions which are supposed to be given to the women, but still they do the work. Many times they are not able to go out to work because they do not get any type of leaves like maternity leaves or childcare leaves like that. But once these women are educated and they are trained, then they enter into the labor market with the same determination and the same bargaining power as of the male counterpart. So earning capacity in an economy is determined on the basis of education and skill. Let us go back to our example, Ranjana and Ranjita. Ranjana's earning capacity is more in comparison to Ranjita. Why? Because Ranjana is skilled and she is educated. Whereas Ranjita, her earning capacity is less or she is earning less because she is uneducated or she is unskilled. Now children, we understood how education, training and health provisions are very, very important in forming the human capital. And now let us reflect on whatever we have studied. Here are some questions. You just answer these questions and try to reflect on what you have understood. The first question is, dash makes all the resources useful and puts them to productive use. What it could be? It is the human resources. Now the second question is, dash cycle gets formed when uneducated parents deprive their children from education and proper health care. Which cycle it is? Recall it. It is the vicious cycle. Which of the following is considered important to create a virtuous cycle by the parents? To send their children to school, to send their children to work, to provide good food, or to take care of health and education of their children. Obviously, the answer is the option D, because health and education are the two important aspects in the capital formation. Next question. Which of the following sectors is related to agriculture, forestry and dairy? Is it primary sector? Is it tertiary sector? Is it secondary sector or none of the above? What could be the answer? Yes, it is the primary sector because it is related to nature. Next question. Market activities involve production of goods and services for option A, exchange, option B, profit, option C, earning income, option D, all of the above. The answer is obviously all of the above. Now question number 6. Production for self-consumption is called non-production activity, non-economic activity, non-market activity, none of the above. Self-consumption means what? It is not reaching the market. The person who is producing it, the same person is consuming it. So it is a non-market activity. Which of the following is a secondary sector activity? Trade, marketing, banking, manufacturing. Secondary sector activity means we have already discussed that it is related to production of goods from raw materials. So obviously it is manufacturing. Now question number 8. State if the statement given below is true or false. Services of housewives are included in national income. Is this statement true? No, it is false. Because I have already explained you that why housewives services are not included in national income. Because they are not remunerated for the work they are doing. Question number 9. Dash and dash are the major determinants of the earning of any individual in the market? Obviously, it is education and skill. Now finally, the last question. Dash can turn production into a productive assets. It is the human capital which can turn the population into the productive asset. Now children, let us summarize what all we have studied in today's session. People of an economy are not a burden. They are not a liability if they are taken positively and formed into what is called as human capital through education, training and healthcare. Once education, training and healthcare is given, it will form what is called as human capital or resources. And enhanced, efficient human capital will give an increased production of goods and services in the economy. Once production in the economy will increase, that will result into increased gross national income. Finally leading to what? Leading to what is called as economic growth. Okay children, this is what is our discussion for today. Thank you all. See you in the next session.